Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah. Sunnahfollowers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashrafil mursaleen, Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Okay, so let us start. And so today's class, we're going to continue with talking about Tahara. So this is cleanliness. And let's see here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay, so last week we talked about, what did we talk about? I guess last time we talked about the vessels. The last thing we left off on was the vessels of the disbelievers. So we were talking about types of water and what you carry water in. I believe that's what we talked about last time. Let me make sure. But today, anyway, today we're going to talk about Sunan al-Fitra. Oh no, last time we talked about istinja, istijmar, and the rulings concerning that. So today we're going to talk about Sunan al-Fitra, and that means specific sunnahs connected to the natural disposition of man. Okay, so as you know, we were created on a fitra, a natural disposition, and it's also referred to as traits of the natural disposition of man. Because the doer is described as being on the natural disposition that Allah created mankind on and likes for them, so that they can be in the best form. So the first sunnah of the fitra is al-siwak, using the siwak, and that is what you see here on the left. I think everyone has seen one before. It's like a toothpick you use to clean your teeth. A siwak, using a stick or something like it to brush the teeth, to remove traces of food and to take away bad odors in the mouth. And it is prescribed at all times because the Prophet ﷺ, he encouraged it and didn't restrict when to use it. He ﷺ, he said, "As-siwak mutahhiratun lil-fam, mardatun lil-rabb." And that means the siwak is a cleaner of the mouth, pleasing to the Lord. And that was collected by Imam an-Nisa'i. And it is a strong, authentic hadith. And he, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, said, "Lawla an ashukka ala ummati لأمرتهم بالسواك عند كل صلاة." Rawahu Muslim. He said, if I didn't want to make a burden on my nation, I would order them to use siwak before every salah. Okay, so when should it be used? It should be used when doing wudhu, when or after you wake up, when there is a bad odor in your mouth, before you read Quran, before making salah, and when entering the mosque or when entering your home. Okay, so that's number one. Also it says here, oh yeah, we mentioned that already. Number two, halq al-ana, and that is shaving the pubic hairs. And that is the hair, of course, that is around the private part. And in removing that, it's for purification, or it's for cleanliness, and for also for looking neater. And this can be done with either a razor or a clippers or cream, whatever you want to use to remove the hair, that can be used. And it's disliked to leave this, to let your hair grow, your pubic hair grow, and your hair, your armpit hair, and things like that, and your mustache, nails, for more than 40 days. لحديث أنس ibn Malik رضي الله عنه قال وكت لنا في قص الشارب وتقليم الأظافر ونتف الإبط وحلق العانة ألا نترك أكثر من 40. Rawahu Muslim. So he said, we were given a time limit for trimming the mustache and trimming the fingernails and removing the armpit hair and shaving the pubic hair, that we would not leave doing that for more than 40 days. Number three, قص الشارب وإحفاؤه. And that means to trim the mustache so that it doesn't go beyond the lips and get out of control, and even to cut most of it off. This is all prescribed, and the reason is so that you can look neater, and it's cleaner, and it's a way of differentiating yourself from the disbelievers. So that's number three. Number four, i'fa'ul lihya, letting the beard grow. And there's many hadith that were related concerning this. And this is like a beautification for men to have a beard, and it's also it also shows like manliness, so that you don't resemble so that men don't resemble women. Okay, let's see. Oh, this hadith an Abi Hurairah قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم خمس من الفطرة الختان والاستحداد والنتف الإبط وتقليم الأظفار وقص الشعر. Sorry about that. So he said there's 5 things from the Fitra: circumcision and shaving the pubic hairs and shaving the armpit hairs, trimming the fingernails, and trimming the mustache. Okay, so let's move on to number 5, Taqlim al-Adhafir. Number 5 is trimming the fingernails. And that is trimming them so that you don't leave too much, or you don't leave more than necessary, so that no dirt can accumulate under your fingernails. And that's the purpose of that. Number 6, Natful Ibt. Well, this is removing the hair that is under the armpit hair. And also this is for cleanliness, and so that it helps in protecting you from bad odors and dirtiness and things like this. Number 7, Ghaslul Barajim. These are like the folds on the back of your fingers that collect dirt. So to clean that is also part of the fitra. And number 8 is al-khitan. Al-khitan means circumcision. Wa huwa, let's see here. Hold on a second. Okay. Oh, this went away. So the circumcision is prescribed for males. This is obligatory for males, and it is it's also it's best to do for females as well, but it's not obligatory. So adding on to these 8 things is rinsing out the nose and mouth and doing istinja. So these are all things that are part of the fitra, the natural disposition of man. Now, after that, we move on to al-wudu, okay? Al-wudu. And what is al-wudu linguistically? It comes from the word al-wada'a, and it means cleanliness. But the sharia, the specific sharia meaning, is to use water on the 4 body parts: the face, the 2 arms, the head, the 2 feet, in the specific way that it is prescribed in the sharia, with the intention of worshiping Allah. This is the sharia definition. And the ruling on wudu is, it is obligatory on the one who is in a state of hadath whenever he wants to make salah or do tawaf or touch the mushaf. Okay, so that is the ruling. And this is okay. As far as the conditions for the wudu to be valid, okay. Oh, let's change this. Conditions for wudu. Be valid. Number 1, you have to be Muslim. So Islam. Number 2, you have to be sane. Number 3, you have to have reached the age of distinction, which is about 7 years old. Number 4 is to have the intention of doing wudu. Number 5 is using pure water. And number 6 is removing anything that would prevent the water from reaching the skin, like dough, wax, anything that makes a barrier on your skin and prevents water from reaching it. Paint, things like this. Okay. As far as the intention, it is something that is in the heart. There's no need to verbally say anything. This is not part of the Sharia. Also, when you use, what is the ruling when someone uses, for example, dyes and cream in their hair? Does it prevent water from reaching the hair? Okay. Most of these things do not. So they don't affect the validity of the wudu. Okay. But if there is something that you're using that does prevent water from reaching the hair, then you must remove it before you do wudu or ghusl. And if you don't, then that means the wudu or the ghusl is invalid. So whatever does not form a barrier, then you can use it. So if it's water soluble, then you can do wudu and it will be a valid wudu. If it's not water soluble, if it's like, oily, then you should remove that before you do wudu. And we're going to go into detail to see exactly what you should not have on when you're doing wudu. Okay. Now, what about drying off after you do wudu? So you make wudu and then you use a towel to dry the water off your skin. Does that somehow affect the wudu? And the answer is no. It is permissible to dry off with a towel after you do wudu. Next, we're going to talk about what has to be removed before you do wudu. And it says here, you have to take off or remove anything that will prevent water from reaching the skin, like paint, like nail polish, and things like that. If you do not remove like nail polish, for example, let's say you make wudu, you have nail polish on, then you make salat. What do you have to do if that happens? If that happens, you have to first remove the nail polish, for example, make wudu again, and repeat the salat because you didn't make salat with the proper wudu. And it says here, if you put on these like artificial nails, for example, you have to take them off before you do wudu, because it prevents the water from reaching the nail under these fake nails. Nail polish as well. You have to remove nail polish before you do wudu because it also prevents water from reaching the the fingernail. And it should be noted as well that it is not permissible to put on these fake nails. What about eyelashes? So the fake nails is not permissible. Nail polish is, but you just can't make wudu on it. Okay, so I want to make sure I make that clear. All right, now what about these? What is the ruling on making wudu and you have eyelashes that are artificial, for example? So artificial eyelashes, there's many problems with them. The biggest one is that it prevents the water from reaching what's underneath, and that means that the wudu is not valid. So you can't make wudu with these eyelashes on. And they're actually not even permissible to put on in the first place. But that's another topic. Okay, what about someone who he does the hair implantation, like he has hair implanted in his hair to grow if he's bald? In that case, you can wipe over that. Okay. All right. So now we're going to talk about the fara'idul wudu, the obligatory parts of the body that you have to wash in order to make wudu. Okay. So there are 6 things that you must wash for the wudu to be complete. The first thing is obligatory parts of wudu. All right, number 1 is to wash the entire face. Okay. قوله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم. And that's in Surah Al-Ma'idah. When you stand up for prayer, wash your faces. And included in the face is to do the rinsing of the mouth and the rinsing of the nose, because the nose and the mouth are part of the face. So 3 terms that you should be familiar with. Al-madmada, it means to put water in your mouth and to, swirl it around until it reaches everywhere in your mouth. Then al-istinshaq, and that is to put water into your nose. And then al-istinshar, and that is to expel the water from your nose. Okay, and that is all part of washing the face. Number 2, غسل اليدين إلى المرفقين لقوله تعالى وأيديكم إلى المرافق. Okay, so number 2, washing the 2 arms. Okay, the elbows. So that means from the tip of the fingers, the tips of the fingers to the elbow. This is what is considered the arm. Okay, so I know some people may make a mistake and they begin wudu by washing their 2 hands, which is sunnah, which is good. But then they wash their nose and mouth, and then their face, and then when they wash their hands, they start at the wrist and go to the elbow. And this is not a valid wudu, because when you wash your arm, you have to start from the tips of the fingers to the elbow, not the wrist. So when you wash your hands, when you begin wudu, this is sunnah. This is not, you have not technically started making wudu yet, because wudu starts with the face. Okay. So I want to make that clear. Number 3 is to wipe over your head. Your entire head. And from the head also is included the 2 ears. لِقَوْلِ تَعَالَى وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ. So wiping over your head. And the sunnah in wiping over the head is to wet your 2 hands and then start at the front, go all the way to the back. Then when you come back towards the front to use your 2 thumbs to do back of your ears, and your 4 fingers, index fingers, to do the inside of the ear. So back, forth, and then the ears. Okay, that's the sunnah way to do it. ثم مسح رأسه بيديه فأقبل بهما وأدبر. بدأ بمقدم رأسه حتى ذهب بهما إلى قفاه ثم ردهما إلى المكان الذي بدأ منه. So start at the front, back, and then back to the front again, where you started from. And for the women, there's no need to go beyond the back of the head, the back of the neck. So if the woman has long hair, she does not have to go and wipe all the way down to the end of her hair. Only thing you have to do is wipe over whatever is on the head, front and back. If you are, for men who are bald, they still have to wipe over their head as well, wherever hair would be. Okay. Number 4, to wash your 2 feet. And that is from the beginning, from the front of from the edge of the toes to the back heel and up to the ankle, up above the 2 ankle bones. غسل الرجلين إلى كعبين لقوله تعالى وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين. And the ankle, the ka'b, is the 2 bones that stick out on each side of your foot, at the base of the base of your foot, where your foot connects to your leg, I guess. Okay. Okay. And it's very important that you make sure that you wash the back of the heels up to the very top of the ankle bones, and you don't leave any dry spots. So that's number 4. Okay. Number 5, tartib. Okay. Order. So you can't start with the feet and then go to the arms, then go to the face, and then go to the head. It has to be in the correct order. لأن الله ذكر أعداء الوضوء في كتابه مرتبا. وَكُلُّ مَنْ وَصَفَ وُضُوء النَّبِيِّ صلى الله عليه وسلم وَصَفَهُ مُرَتَّبًا. So Allah mentions it in a certain order, and everyone who describes wudu from the companions, they all mention the same order. And number 6, al-muwala, بألا يؤخر غسل العضو حتى ينشف الذي قبله. So timing. Okay, so for example, if you start with your face and then you wait like 5 minutes, and then by the time 5 minutes goes by, the water has already evaporated from your face, and then you want to, do your arms. This is not valid. So you have to wash the parts of the wudu in at the same time. So you can't take a break and come back and start where you left off, basically. Okay, so this is these are the 6 things, the 6 obligatory things that are necessary in order to have a valid, proper wudu. And then it mentions something, some points, like, for example, if you have a limb that's been cut off or something like this, you just wash whatever is still there, basically. If you have like prosthetic limbs, for example, if it's easy to take one of these fake limbs off, then for that, let me see here. وَمَنْ رَكَّبَ أَعْضَاءَ صَنَاعِيَّةً سَاتِرَةً لمحل فرض الوضوء فإن كان نزع هذه الأعضاء يسيرا نزعها عند إرادة الوضوء وإن كان نزعها متعذرا أو يصعب فإنه يمسح على تلك الأعضاء. So you can wipe over it. If it's too hard to take off, then you can just wipe over it, or else you can just take it off. What about someone who has like the, I don't know what you call them, prosthetic teeth, I guess, dentures? If you have dentures, it doesn't affect the water from reaching the mouth, so you can keep them in. Okay. Okay. So that is the obligatory parts of wudu. Now the sunnah of wudu. Okay. Okay. Number 1. These are the sunnah of wudu. Number 1 is al-siwak. We talked about siwak earlier. Okay. Number 2, at-tasmiyah, to say Bismillah. Okay. There's a hadith. It says, "La wudu'u liman lam yadhkur ismullah." Rawahu Abu Dawood wa Hasanahu Albani. There is no wudu for someone who does not say Bismillah. However, the scholars derive from that it is sunnah. So the wudu is still valid if you do not say wudu, if you not say Bismillah. Number 3, ghasl al-kafain thalathan fi awal wudu. And this is what some people think is it starts the wudu, but it's only the sunnah to wipe or to wash the two hands before wudu. So okay. And there's a hadith where Uthman said that the messenger, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, دعا بالماء فأفرغ على كفين ثلاث مرات فغسلهما ثم أدخل يده في الإناء. دعا بالماء فأفرغ على كفيه ثلاث مرات فغسلهما ثم أدخل يده في الماء. So the Prophet ﷺ, he called for water to be brought to him. Then he poured it over his two hands 3 times. He washed his hands 3 times. And then he would put his hand in the vessel that had the water in it. Because in that time, there was no running water. So they used vessels of water to make wudu. So before he would put his hand in that vessel of water, he would have someone bring water and he would wash his hands first. Okay. So that is sunnah. Number 4, mubalagha fil istinshaq. So number 4 means to put water deeper into your nose. When you're washing your face and you're putting water in your mouth and nose, to make the water go up farther into the nose. That's number 4. Number 5, takhlilul lihya al-athifa. So to put your fingers through your beard if it is. So if you have a thick beard, you can take water and wash in between, like, using your fingers to clean, like, inside of your beard. That's number 5. Number 6, akhdul ma jadid li mash ar-ra's. To use new water to wipe over your head. Okay. Number 7. Oh, right here. Number 7, takhlil al-asabi al-yadayn wa rijlayn. Okay, so number 7 is to go between the fingers and toes with your fingers. So use your fingers. You go through you go in between your fingers and your toes. Okay, and that's in the case that, okay, if water goes between your fingers and toes, then this is sunnah. But if it doesn't, then this is obligatory to go and make the water reach between your fingers and toes. Okay. And then number 8 is starting on the right side. Okay. So your right hand first, or right arm first, then left, right foot first, then left. This is called at-tayammum. Okay, so if someone were to start with their left arm, for example, and then the right, the wudu is still valid. But if someone were to start with their arms and then do the face, this would be invalid, because one thing is order, and another thing is which, if you start with the right or left. Okay, so just something kind of technical, but you know. Number 9, تثليث الغسل في وجه ويدين ورجلين. So number 9 is doing the parts or washing the arms and the face. Let me start with face. Washing the face, arms, and 3 hands. Okay. So washing the parts of wudu one time is obligatory. And it's better to do it 2 times, and it's even best to do it 3 times, but you shouldn't exceed 3. And number 10, ذكر بعد الوضوء. Okay, so supplicate after you do wudu. And there is a supplication you say, it's La ilaha illallah. Actually, you say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan abdullah wa rasuluhu. And when you say this, the hadith says that the 8 gates of paradise are opened, and you can enter whichever one you want. It says that ما منكم من أحد يتوضأ فيسبغ الوضوء ثم يقول أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله إلا فتحت له أبواب الجنة الثمانية يدخل من أيها شاء. رواه مسلم. There's not one of you except that if he makes a wudu and he does a good job in making wudu, and then he says after he finishes, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and that Muhammad is the slave and messenger, is his slave and messenger, except that the 8 gates of paradise are open for him, and then he can enter in whichever one he wants. So it is Ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah and that Muhammad is his slave and messenger. Okay. That is the dua to say, and then the 8 paradise will be open. Okay, so we will stop there. Any questions? Next time we can start with what breaks the wudu.